And you are watching Tennessee Valley This Morning. I am Ashley again this week, and this is Rob. Rob's going to pick a topic. Go!
This week in Cincinnati, Ohio, Ashley, four graduating seniors at a high school were denied their diplomas until they do 20 hours of community service because they're being denied their diplomas because their family did excessive cheering at the ceremony. Now the students passed. All the grades are fine. They've put in all the hours that are necessary for their education. But they are denied their diplomas until they do 20 documented hours of community service because their families cheered for too long. What do you think about that? Go.
I think that is a great way to get, if you're mad at someone, just get your family to come and cheer for them at graduation. That is the best way to get back at someone.
Your mind works in a very strange.
I guess
that's a very strange way.
You were telling me that, and that's all I could think about.
I was kind of expecting you to say, that's wrong.
Well, it is wrong.
First of all, they've graduated. They've passed their tests. Everything's happened. The only thing that they need is the diploma,
right.
And then because someone else does something that the school doesn't like, they then have to go do community service. That's the route I thought you were going to go with. But instead, the route you went with was, how could I take this news and make it very difficult on someone else? What do you think? I mean, does that sound even legal?
No, it doesn't. That's ridiculous. Like, how can you accuse or find someone?
What's the accusation? Listen, you go.
You're two-sided.
Yeah, Ohio, camera one. Can I speak to Ohio?
Go ahead.
Ohio. Hi, it's Rob Alderman here. You know, high school's a long, difficult time. Students are trying to find their way, trying to figure it out. They dedicate hours and hours to their life in high school, to their community of high school, and when it's over, they just want to celebrate. It's not a small thing. I mean, when I graduated, my dad wore like a big T-shirt that said "Dad's #1 grad" or something like, or #1 dad of a #1 grad. Was I actually the #1 grad? No, I wasn't even close to being the #1 grad. But the point is, we wanted to celebrate. And when we were done, he took me out to the Olive Garden, which back then, I mean, that was many, many years ago. That was like a new thing. It was like the nicest restaurant in town.
They asked me where I wanted to go, and I said Subway.
You went to Subway?
Yeah, I went to Subway when I graduated.
Yeah, see, you had some, and so what is excessive cheering at one of the big, this is a big milestone, right?
Yeah.
You got to think about this. You graduate high school, that's a big one, right? Getting your driver's license is a big one. Getting married, that one's big. Having a kid is important. You know what I'm saying? The first time you see Tennessee Valley This Morning, that's a big one. You don't want to take things away from people.
Cheering right now.
That's right. You don't want to take this away from people. Ohio, I think you maybe missed the mark on this.
Well, how do you decide to give it to give the students community service?
Right.
Why not find those people that were cheering and give
what does that even
citations? Have someone there handing, hey,
here's what I disliked. Here's what I disliked about it the most. Are you ready? This is where it's about to this is where it irks me. I don't know if it's going to irk you the same way. When the school superintendent was reached for comment, she said that they want things to move smoothly and the excessive cheering might drown out like another student's name, something like that. Here's my issue. This kind of reminds me, I don't know why, okay, I don't know why, Ohio, but you kind of reminded me of the same beef I have with Upwards basketball, where like every kid gets a trophy even though clearly some kids are good at basketball and some kids aren't, and it's like, no, everybody's great here. Right? And so I kind of feel like what happened is the kids with the families that love them the most get penalized because there are other children that maybe have to walk with no cheering. And so what happens is some people go, that's just not right. That kid, he's so sad. He's graduating and no one's cheering for him. So you know what we'll do? Let's withhold the diplomas of the kids whose families say, great job. Well, you know what? Life is pain.
Did they give them a warning? Did they go to school that day before and be like, look, if your parents cheer,
yes, no, they were given. Listen, they were given a warning. They weren't. I can listen in defense of Ohio.
Right.
They were given a warning.
Okay. Well, they were given a warning that said the story a little bit. You left that part out.
Well, like I said, that's the next step, right? That's the next step. for Upwards basketball or Upwards soccer is you can't, no more scoring.
Right.
No more scoring of any points, everyone. We want you to sit on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Right? And then what happens? No basketball. That's what happens. We have a great show lined up. We've got Amanda from the Boys and Girls Club here. We have Derek Kinsey also from the Boys and Girls Club, but not to talk about the Boys and Girls Club. We're here to talk to him about what may be the greatest business failure of his life. And we've got some local news, national news, previews, and reviews.
And it's 80 Toys Awareness Week.
I was going to get to that in the news.
Well, we'll talk about it in the news too.
All that and more coming up in just a moment. And we're back. You're watching Tennessee Valley This Morning. I'm Rob Alderman. With me today, Ashley Rayburn.
I'm back.
Slinky has the night off. It's time for...
Morning off.
Yeah, what, you know, that's like a thing.
Yeah,
You say the night off.
Yeah.
The night off.
He has all day off.
Right. Well, Slinky, we miss you.
We do.
We missed you last week. He's up in Chicago.
Yeah, he's correcting me on my spelling errors on Twitter.
That was fantastic. You know what? Before we even get into the news,
I have to say I deserved it.
You shouldn't have even brought it up. This was the most fantastic. This is the most fantastic thing that happened on Twitter. Now we've talked about this, how we solve the world's problem on my Facebook page and on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to solve every problem in town, you go to my Facebook page and you post about it, right? So here's the deal. Earlier this week, we haven't heard anything from the Slinky. I mean, this has been radio silence. He sent me a text a couple weeks ago saying, I'm going to miss the next 2 shows. I sent him one back that said, where are you going? He said, Chicago. That's it. That's like all we know. We don't even really know what's going on with the Slinky. But then a couple days ago, he emerged from his exile to hop on the Twitter nets to let you know something very funny. And this is a classic Slinky moment. Is you were trying to kind of have a serious
the one time I have a serious tweet.
Yeah.
I just got done mowing. I was tired.
No, just say what the tweet was supposed to say.
Well, the tweet was supposed to say, because I'm in education, so first of all, I should be able to spell.
Clearly.
Right. It was supposed to say, educator friends out there, what web apps work well for, what web apps do you like for education?
Right.
And it turned out saying something completely different, but I just typed it and autocorrect and everything, and it went on. I didn't spell
And what
check.
actually came out was, dear educators,
Yeah.
question mark.
Yeah.
And it was like, what education app? But education was misspelled.
Right.
Like the word education was misspelled. The word apps, I don't even know was actually used. I think web was misspelled. Like, I don't know how you misspelled the word web, but it was like
I don't know. I think I was like doing this.
What web app? What web app is your favorite educating medium? And so I'm like looking at that and I think, oh, I gotta zing him. You know, I need to let.
Right.
But Slinky had beat me to it. He actually emerged and he said that his favorite education app is
Spell check.
Anyway, it was like that came through the internet all the way here to Cleveland, Tennessee.
Yes, it did.
To find you. And we'll discuss that later. But it's time for the big news.
Rob goes out to his driveway and picks up the paper.
That's right.
That's where he gets the news from.
It's rarely in the driveway.
Rarely.
If it was in the driveway, it would be safer from the mud puddles that it is actually in.
You wouldn't have to dodge traffic.
Yeah, I go out, I pick up the one, the only, the infallible Cleveland Daily Banner. I take it, we look at the headlines, and this is what we got, folks.
We steal them.
So here you go. Your Cleveland Daily Banner news. And first up is E.L. Ross introduces tablet tech. That's right. the Educational Foundation, E.L. Ross Elementary School, they're starting to teach on some of those newfangled iPads.
Yeah.
And they had a picture in there of kids, and they were iPadding it up, doing their iPad thing. And so tech has been, we got a few pieces of tech in our news, actually, today. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, it's kind of cool. Like I said, I am in education, and I deal with the technology in education.
Yeah.
And so I think it's great. It's something that's happening across the state right now. There's a huge push for, the word is mobilization. It's the word everyone's pushing out there. And there's a huge push for that. So for our local schools to get in on that, E.L. Ross, to jump in on that, I think they're right on par with the rest of the state, rest of the country. But our state is actually ahead in mobilization right now.
Well, this is where I'm kind of at with it, is I remember, now I'm ancient.
Right.
Okay? But I remember when we got our first computer lab.
They were like apples and they had green screens.
Well, the thing was, no, I remember that some other kids can tell you about how they had a Mac lab.
Right.
Okay, no, I'm pre-Mac lab.
Do you have a Commodore lab?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. And we had two things that you could do.
Do they have cassette tapes that you got to play?
They weren't small. They were like these large.
Right.
It's hard to explain.
You
could only do two things on them. This is what they taught us how to do in my computer lab at school. This was the tech world for me in Maryville, Indiana. And the tech world for Rob, growing up in education, was this. You could log on and you could be like, write your name, Rob, and then you put in like a little dash, autoplay / dash something, and then you would like write like 1,000, and you would hit enter, and then it would like go Rob, 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 Rob all over the screen, right? And they took those away from us because there were kids that were like putting dirty words on there, and they would say a dirty word, and then they would hit like auto run like 1,000,000. Yeah. And so you would come in after the last class had their lab, and it was like still like dirty word, dirty word, dirty word, like all over the screen, and you'd be like, you couldn't. Nobody knew how to reboot a computer or anything back then. You just stared at it. And so they were like, that's not good. So they said, no more of that. So then they put Oregon Trail on our computers, okay? Which still holds up today, by the way.
It does. You can actually get it on these newfangled devices.
But here was the thing, is in Oregon Trail, for those of you who've never played it, you pick a family. You're a family trying to make it across the Oregon Trail. And so you pick your names of your family, and then along the Oregon Trail, different family members die of such and such.
Horrible deaths.
Dysentery, starvation.
You drown.
Lots of them don't make it across the creek.
While you're forging the river.
And this was, I think, brilliance, okay, on the part of Oregon Trail, is that then when you died and you were playing the game and you left, the gravestones of your family stayed on the computer for the next person that played the game. And so as you then were going down Oregon Trail, you were finding the deaths of all the people who played before you. It would say, you've come upon this gravestone.
So then you'd go back to that person,
dysentery.
And you'd be like, I got further than you.
Well, no, that's the way your brain thinks because of like what you were saying about Cincinnati. This is finally what shut down the entire computer lab, is that then what people found out they could do is they could then enter dirty words as the names of their family. So you would be playing the Oregon Trail game, and your teacher would be standing over. So brilliant, And this is what's funny is back then, like your computer teachers, they weren't computer teachers at all. They were also like your English teacher,
your gym
or
teacher,
whatever, your gym teacher. And so they would be standing over your shoulder, and suddenly your little wagon would pull up in front of a gravestone, and it would say like, "Here lies." Dirty word. And they would say, you! Because they didn't know about computers. And so you're like, no, I didn't. But like, they don't even know enough to think you didn't do it. So eventually they just took all the computers
So how many times
out.
did you get in trouble?
Well, this is what actually happened. Is they then
Way to dodge the question, Ron.
They took the computers out, but we still had to go to that class. So then we sat in an empty classroom.
They're like, that's your punishment for typing dirty words.
What? I was like, what? So anyway, that's that. In other news, 5 Lee University Flames taken in the Major League Baseball draft this week.
That's pretty cool.
I think that's humongous.
Yeah.
Okay, now you get drafted into the Major League Baseball is a little different than getting drafted in. Like when somebody gets drafted into the NBA or the NFL, you know they're going to play.
Right.
Right. So getting drafted into the Major League Baseball isn't quite the same thing. It's more like saying you're a good baseball player.
Oh, that's baseball, isn't it? That's
you know what I'm
I
saying?
know about
yeah,
sports.
MLB.
Yeah,
That's right.
MLB.
Major League Baseball.
Major League
But-
Basketball.
But I do want to say, no, baseball.
I
Baseball.
know.
Baseball.
That was a joke.
I do think it's huge that 5 Lee University Flames got chosen for the Major League Baseball draft. Who knows where they're going to go play? If they're going to go play, we believe in you guys. I'm from Lee University. I did not get chosen for the draft.
Well, you know, I want to
When
say,
I was there, we didn't have a baseball team.
I'm not a sports fan. Anyone that knows me knows that.
We're aware.
On like Monday nights, they used to have broadcast the basketball games on the local radio station.
Yeah, they did.
And I would play video games and just turn the radio on like the oldie station, and they would just come in. I just wouldn't turn it off. So I have that memory of like Lee University sports, so that's pretty cool. That's like the only good sports memory I have.
When I was at Lee, the only thing
Yeah.
was basketball.
Yeah.
And it got crazy up in that piece.
Right.
It's not basketball season just yet. We can't talk about it on here. But.
Yeah, the coach at the time, I went to school with his son, so.
How was that? Was he like a rock star?
No, I just
a big
knew
coach
him.
of a big
I just thought it was
university?
kind of cool. Nothing that's relevant. Just making a.
You just summed up the entire television show in one awkward sentence.
Yeah.
In one awkward sentence. Like that's
and
our whole
Slinky's
show.
voice is just going to come in and be like.
That's like our whole show.
Yeah.
In other news, we don't. Let me tell you something. We're hard-nosed journalists here. We're hard-nosed journalists. We get to the bottom of the issues. So we wouldn't talk about one university without talking about the other university.
Well, it's not a university.
So something that is, you're being irrelevant again.
I'm being very relevant.
Very irrelevant.
I work here.
Please. Anyway, work, that's subjective.
Work?
That's subjective. Here's the deal. In other news, Cleveland State Community College, right?
The place that hires people that can't spell.
Just hosted Wednesday of this week. They hosted the State Teachers Summit, where
Yes, they
250 educators from all over the state came here to have a luau-themed teaching session on technology. And nothing says technology like a luau.
That's true.
Were you part of this?
I was. My department was one of the main departments that sponsored it. So we had a great time. We had Robbie Melton from the Tennessee Board of Regents come down, talk about mobilization, once again, that word. Lots of presenters from across the state, lots of K-12 teachers, lots of college instructors that came, and all the presenters had flowery shirts because it was a luau, you know?
Yeah.
And we had, so it was catered by this great new place called Fig here in town locally. It's incredible. And
where's that at?
And
where's Fig?
It's off Stewart Road. But everything about this event was fantastic, and all the
What was your
participants
favorite
came.
part? What was your favorite part of the event?
Well, like I said, Robbie Melton came down, and Dr. Robbie Melton from TBR, and she always puts on a fantastic. It's a performance. I mean, with her mobile apps and those kinds of things.
Yeah, that was your favorite part?
That was a great part. I mean,
here's
the whole
my
thing was
question.
great.
Camera one, I'm going to ask you to bear with me in a minute because I'm going to show you something in a second. If Joe, I know you're back there. In a minute, I'm going to take my mic off and walk towards the camera to show them something on my phone. Will that work if I get close?
Yeah,
it will. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this from the tech conference?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I don't want you to comment on this. I just took this picture. I thought it might be left over. This is my favorite part of the tech conference. Would you be so kind to? I'll comment on this in a second, camera.
I'll hold your mic.
Hold on, I'm headed your way. Can you see this? Let me tilt it. I'm gonna get really close, Joe. Can you see that okay? That's my favorite part right there. Now I'm coming back. Here we go. Now I don't know if the people at home could see that well enough, but what you're looking at here is a restroom sign down the hallway from here that has a little digital man and a little digital woman that are clearly in need of using the restroom. So and it says men and women on it. So my thing is I had to take a photo of this for the internet because why did the tech conference make them look like they're like? This looks like the most painful place in the world you want to go.
It's because
they are so unhappy.
They're going to be relieved.
These are the most unhappy
people once they get to the
There's
bathroom.
no way that you could get me to go to this place. You know, I don't care how bad I had to go to the bathroom. If I saw this sign, I would be like, I'm not going where the very sad robots go. That's what this looks like. It's like painful, sad robots. Neither of them are in luau attire.
That's true.
So they're not very
they're like
themey.
overalls.
Yeah, they're in overalls, and they look so sad. Here's the deal: because we fix everything on the Facebook, go to my Facebook later, and I'll post this picture in case you couldn't see it there. In national news, 2,000 players are suing the NFL over head trauma. Here's the deal: it's the largest case in NFL history, and they're basically saying that for years and years and years, the NFL has now hidden the fact that concussions and getting hit on the head repeatedly over and over again causes severe brain damage. And they're also being sued by NFL players for glorifying violence.
I bet they're not being sued by NFL players for giving them like millions of dollars.
Think about this. This is the thing. They're saying, now also being sued is the helmet company. Okay, one of the helmet companies. So here's the deal.
But wait, are they really hiding this fact? I mean, is it
That's what they say?
That they're going through all of like the medical journals and saying head trauma could cause problems?
Well, that's what I don't understand yet is this. Like, at what point, like, why do we need the NFL to say that multiple head injuries may result in head trauma?
Right.
Right? I mean, why does, like, that's kind of strange to me. It's kind of strange, but it is the largest class action lawsuit in NFL history. You're going to be hearing a whole lot about it, you know. And the fact is this: what they're really wanting is they're saying that this stuff causes Alzheimer's, and it's not about the guys that are paid millions of dollars. Okay, believe it or not, there are actually football players that don't get paid close to that. They get paid in like the really low six figures, which
right.
when you're also traveling all over the country doing that goes quicker than you may think. And a lot of those guys are developing early stage dementia and even Alzheimer's disease. And so what they're saying is that the NFL should have some sort of a retirement type plan that says, look, you gave yourself for this entertainment industry, there are certain risks involved, so we're going to help you down the line. Right. I don't know what I buy about it or not. In sad news, like it could be more sad than head trauma, is that mortgage rates in the United States have hit a new all-time low. So we're trying, like the economy is kind of doing its thing. So if you want to buy a house, it's the time. I don't have the money, but
right.
You could. And in our final piece of national news is that this week Ray Bradbury died.
He did.
The author of Fahrenheit 451 and so many other Something Wicked This Way Comes, so many other fantastic stories has died and is being mourned all across the world, really.
Yeah.
You know, now you're a geek.
I'm a geek.
How much Ray Bradbury have you read?
I'm not a very good reader.
I love having you on this show.
Yeah. No, I've read
You're
some.
a gimme.
But, yeah, I know.
You're just a gimme.
Yeah.
It's slow pitch all day in here, folks. I'm not much of a reader.
No, I said I'm not a very good reader. I read quite a bit.
Stumped me. This is the guy who stumped me last week with the question, for the first time ever, Doctor Who and Star Trek are doing a combined comic book. That was your question last week.
Yeah, that was my question.
So no Ray Bradbury for you.
No, I've read some. No, it's Fahrenheit 451 is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Our final piece of news. We're sorry, Ray Bradbury, by the way.
Yeah.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to whatever family he may have. I haven't read anything about that yet because he's such a big star, but
right.
We're sorry.
Well, he was also, and this doesn't diminish the fact, but he was 91 years old.
Right. This isn't. Like,
it's not like he was
tragically died in a car accident.
Yeah. I mean, he died of kind of natural.
You had a good
causes,
run.
so, yeah.
I raised my water bottle to you, Ray Bradbury, and all the good that you've done. In final news, your blog says that it is 80s Toy Week.
I do. It's a month. 80s Toy Awareness Month.
So here's my final question before we go to commercial and then get to talk to the lovely and talented Amanda from the Boys and Girls Club. My final question is, of every 80s toy ever, what is the best? What's the best 80s toy of all time?
Toy or toy line?
No, the toy, the single toy.
The single toy.
What is the single best 1980s toy?
He-Man.
He-Man.
He-Man. The figure He-Man.
The figure He-Man.
Yes.
I was going to go with Voltron.
Voltron's cool. Voltron's a good one.
When I was a kid, this is true, I had a lot of He-Man figures, He-Man. I always wanted there was like when you're little, he seems gigantic.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's really this big or not, but he seemed big to me. And that was like the holy grail of toys.
Yeah.
Was if you could get you had to buy all the different pieces and put them together into one vicious, lionish robot with a sword, right? And I loved the cartoon, and I loved the toy, and I wanted it, and it was always too expensive. And I was always finding kind of broken ones in rummage sales and trying to build my own Voltron. Well, the other day, thanks to the glory of Netflix, I got to introduce my children to Voltron for the first time. And so I put on Voltron, and I got really excited. We were also, April was there, and the kids were there.
Was
and
it the original Voltron?
Yeah, this is the one. And I got super excited, and I said, guys, this was like Daddy's favorite cartoon growing up. Sit down, get ready. I got them ready, and the pizza on their little trays. And my wife, she doesn't know. I said, this is so good. You're going to love this. And I hit play, and it sucks.
Yeah, a lot of 80s cartoons, dude.
It is one of the worst television shows. I could barely.
Try Thundercats.
Listen, and my kids never do this to me, but my kids put their pizza down and stopped eating, and they stood up quietly and just left the room to go play. They just left. They didn't want to break my heart by just looking at me and saying, Dad, this sucks. That's the end of the big news. We'll be right back with Amanda from the Boys and Girls Club after these messages. It sucks.
I'm Kathy Guy with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Call us today for all your personal insurance needs. With 28 years in the insurance business, I have the solutions and pricing you are looking for. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Have annoying biting and stinging insects taken over your yard? Volunteer Rid-A-Pest can get it back. Make your yard a no-fly zone with Mosquito Guard. Volunteer Rid-A-Pest will eliminate these annoying pests, and you'll be able to work in your yard, have a pool party, a cookout, allow your children to play outside, or just sit outside and enjoy the evening. Volunteer Rid-A-Pest has developed an extremely effective treatment program that treats all shrubs, bushes, trees, and other foliage where mosquitoes and other biting, stinging insects live and breed. This material will not harm your plants or trees and leaves no harmful residue. This treatment program is safe for use around children and pets, but the best part is it's 100% guaranteed. If you are not 100% satisfied, Volunteer Rid-A-Pest will retreat for free until you are satisfied, or after 30 days, will cancel their agreement and refund 100% of your money. Give Volunteer Rid-A-Pest a call for a free no-obligation estimate. Phone 472-7736.
And we're back. You are watching Tennessee Valley this morning. I'm Rob. With me today, Ashley Rayburn. With us, Amanda Downey, like the fabric softener, she says, from the Boys and Girls Club. And as you can see, we're going to comment on something. We're going to get your input here. Okay. That was a quick break. We did our thing, and then we came over here. Since coming on this show, sponsorship has dropped a little, okay? Ever since we came on. I don't think that they're related. I don't think that our show and the lack of sponsorship.
Robin the Slinky, not Robin Ashley.
Well, I'm just saying that I don't think that it has anything to do with the show. It's a tough economy. We're just talking about mortgages at a low. Yeah, all-time low. Things like that, okay? So Amanda, you seem like a really nice person, okay? What is your, remedy for this? How are we going to get more sponsors for the show?
Well, I heard that Gravel Road, the guy who does that is coming on after me. I think he'd sponsor.
Gravel Road, hear our plea. We need sponsors. You clearly need advertising. So if you could, please sponsor the show. Tennessee Valley this morning. What do you think about this? We could get just What if they agreed to sponsor the whole show? No other commercials except just gravel road commercials
That'd be
for the
good.
whole show.
Except I feel like whoever did the advertisements of the bathroom signs should also throw in an advertisement.
That's a good idea, actually, because those classic. That's a classic. Well, Amanda, thank you for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
We're here to talk to you today about your new gig, because you've got a new gig.
I do.
Why don't you look over there at the camera and tell them what your new gig is?
I'm the director of the Boys and Girls Club Cleveland State Extension.
So that means that right down the hall from this very studio, you shape young minds
Into hopefully something positive.
Right, positive minds.
Right.
Here at the, how many, they're not students, right? You don't look at them as students. What do we call them in the Boys and Girls Club? What are
Members.
they?
Club
Members. How many club members?
Kids.
30.
30.
We have 30 right now.
That's fantastic. That's a little room
Very small.
to have 30
Very
in there. Is that why normally I see them out running in the parking lot?
They don't run in the parking lot. They don't. We have an eye on them.
No, that's summer numbers. You're up for the summer, or is that your normal numbers through the year too?
During the school year, we're probably at 25.
Yeah.
So summer numbers are up sometimes.
Because I work down here, and so I see the kids get to go up and down the hall to go by my office to go to the restroom or whatever it is they do, and it's always fun during the summer. You always get to when it's summertime.
Because there's
more. There's kids coming all day.
You don't seem happy about it at all, to be honest.
10 to 5. They're here all day. It is. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You get to see
10 to 5.
Yeah, they're here all day during the summer. It's
Holy
actually a lot
Moses.
of fun to have them here.
I need to get my kids enrolled in this thing.
You should.
Then you would have 32.
32. How old?
Well, actually, I think only one of your kids can.
4 and 8.
We do 6 through 18, but our oldest is 14.
My 4 is a beast, though. He's bigger than any 6-year-old you got in this joint.
Really?
Yeah, that's the truth. So here's a question. Have you noticed, now you said that the kids, they go back and forth all the time past your door.
Right.
Since Cleveland State on Wednesday hosted the thing, and there are now frightening robot pee pictures on the wall. That's what we're going to, robot pee pictures. That's what they are. There's no other, I'm using scientific terms here, people, so there's
It's like
no,
a Ray Bradbury novel.
Right, yeah, you call it what it is, you know. I'm not worried about, our viewers are highly educated, and so I have to say things like, robot pee pictures to keep them, this is what they need. Have you noticed a decline in kids going to the bathroom since those terrifying flyers went up on the wall? Because I almost didn't even go today. I'm going to tell you the truth, is I almost always go. I almost use the restroom before every show because I don't want to get here and be like, I got to use the restroom, and it's like on, you know how that is, right?
Totally.
Like, have you ever been trying to have a normal conversation, but you're like, ugh, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So here's the thing, is I walked down the hall and I saw that flyer, and I was like, and I almost didn't even go.
So you ran back?
Well, no, I powered through.
Oh. Did you notice when you went that the floors were soaking wet?
No.
Good. Because we had all of our kids in there filling up water balloons today. So
Really?
we had to mop the floors twice. And then it was leaking out into the hallway. And so then we had to stop the water balloon process and filled squirt guns instead.
Now,
and buckets.
Amanda, how old are you?
21.
That seems young to be the director of a Boys and Girls Club.
It is.
I mean, the other director at the main campus in town, Derek Kinsey, who we're going to interview in a little bit, is like 50.
I think he's like 70.
He may be.
Yeah.
So you're 21. How'd you get this gig? What's the
Well.
story? Everyone has a story. That's what we're after. Ready? Go.
Okay, story. Went to school, majored in advertising, ended up interning for Derek Kinsey, doing marketing and public relations, writing press releases. But I got his internship because I got a job here under Erica Beavis, which is the other director. She's the real director. She just had a baby. That's why I'm the director now.
Oh.
But Derek asked me if I wanted to take her spot while she was on maternity leave, so.
Does she know yet that you're not going to let her have it back? She does now.
She does.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting though, because I've worked here for a while, and there's been a number of directors come through, and it's always.
So you're saying it's a high
No,
turnover?
no,
it's a high
not.
turnover
That's the thing.
position.
They're always very good directors, and they always end up going back home or something because they're here from Lee or something like that. And there's always really good people in that position. So anyone that gets that position, I know, is going to be really good at it. So
he feels like you're really good at your job already.
Well, I sure hope so.
What's your favorite part? What's your favorite part about
favorite
being,
part?
like why boys? Listen, Boys and Girls Club. Why?
Why? Yeah. I just like working with kids. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I used to hate it. I got nervous around kids because I just couldn't talk to them. But then my first day, I walked into the art room and there was one guy against the wall and four girls screaming at him about to start a fight. And I was in the middle of it. I literally walked into the middle of it and I had no clue what to do. And I stopped them, and then the girls said, "This is our turf, get out." And they were just mean. They were like, "You don't belong here."
It was like a gang war?
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. But
as a PR person, that's not the way you wanna.
Let me explain.
Man, the biggest problem they used to have was they would have like had to stop them from trading Pokemon cards.
This is our turf.
Yeah,
get out.
They still do that. They still do that.
They told you that? Like,
yes,
this is our turf?
But only because
I told you looked young.
Exactly. Only because these girls were taller than I am, and they didn't know that I was staff. They just thought that I was some new girl trying to stop them. So I had to earn their respect because they are taller than me. I'm short. But as a PR, the Boys and Girls Club is great.
How'd you earn their respect? Did you have to, like, beat up the gang leader?
No.
Did you have to?
No, you just have to get to know them.
You
Go to
beat the
lunch
gang
with
leader?
them. And I beat up the gang leader.
No, really, tell the audience at home what you did to.
You just get to know them. Go to lunch with them.
Did you
visit them
infiltrate
at
the
school.
gang?
And I did that.
You infiltrated the gang.
Yes. There's no more gang.
There's no more gang.
Those 4 girls do not beat up guys anymore.
That's a fantastic idea. You know,
my suggestion would have been to just wear stilts. And then you would have been taller. Platform shoes. Like those Elton John platform shoes with goldfish in them.
And you have to run around. And you have to chase them down the hall so they don't interrupt the offices. And you have to show them where the robot pee bathrooms are. You can't really run in those.
Did you know, I'm glad that we have a guest on our show saying robot pee bathroom. Whoa. My plan is working. Yeah, did you know that I'm on the board of directors for Boys and Girls Club?
Now I do.
Which means I'm like your boss.
You are.
I'm your boss's boss's boss.
Derek, Charlie, you.
True.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I would not want to work for Rob.
Did you know that I really don't, I'm not really your boss in any way. I'm just glad that you're doing a good job. But tell us this. What do you think? Now, you said this is interim, okay? This job right now. What is it that you want to do going forward? What is it? I mean, you're doing this for now, but when the maternity gig is over, are you still going to work with Boys and Girls Club? Do you have other things on your radar? What is...
I want to. I'm looking right now. I can't decide right now if I want to work as a director, and hopefully I can just get a job somewhere else as a director so I can still work with kids. But then again, when I worked for Derek and did press releases, it's very high pace, and I kind of get the rush off of high pace. So I don't know if I want to go into advertising or public relations wise for the Boys and Girls Club, or maybe just another nonprofit.
Well, you're doing everything right as far as PR. I mean, you've come in, you've talked about your organization, the fact that there are dangerous gangs inside, and that you spill water water all over the floors of the institutions that give you free space. So you are doing, let me say, in terms of PR, you're talented.
Doing a great job.
You are talented at that. What about, let's talk, it is summertime. It's summertime. So before you go, talk to us a bit about what's coming up at the club. What kind of events, what's happening right now at the club that, if somebody wanted to get involved, what are they going to get involved with?
Well, we have we have themed weeks. Actually, it was a coincidence that the conference was here and they had a Hawaiian luau because our week was Hawaiian themed. However, we kind of didn't enforce it as much because we had 15 volunteers come in, and so I told them about it, but I didn't know if they would show up in all Hawaiian gear and all the kids be like, what is going on? So we have themed weeks. Next week is Crazy Art Week, so the fathers will have gifts for Father's Day. And then we also have swim days on Tuesday and Thursdays at the pool, and then we also go to Horns Creek on Fridays. So we have field trips, themed weeks, swim days. Today we had a water day, and we had water balloons, water guns.
It sounds like a vacation.
It is. Boys and Girls Club vacation.
Boys and Girls Club vacation. Well, Amanda Downey, thank you for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
I think you're an excellent representative of the Boys and Girls Club of Cleveland. I'll be sure to bring it up at the next board meeting, that you did a great job. Do you have anything else, Ashley,
No,
before we go to commercial?
No.
Amanda, she's doing a great job. Bring her your children from 10 to 5. We will be right back after this commercial with Derek Kinsey of Gravel Road Productions after this.
Have annoying biting and stinging insects taken over your yard? Volunteer Ritapest can get it back. Make your yard a no-fly zone with Mosquito Guard. Volunteer Ritapest will eliminate these annoying pests, and you'll be able to work in your yard, have a pool party, a cookout, allow your children to play outside, or just sit outside and enjoy the evening. Volunteer Ritapest has developed an extremely effective treatment program that treats all shrubs, bushes, trees, and other foliage where mosquitoes and other biting, stinging insects live and breed. This material will not harm your plants or trees and leaves no harmful residue. This treatment program is safe for use around children and pets, but the best part is it's 100% guaranteed. If you are not 100% satisfied, Volunteer Ritapest will retreat for free until you are satisfied, or after 30 days, will cancel their agreement and refund 100% of your money. Give Volunteer Ritapest a call for a free no-obligation estimate. Phone 472-7736.
I'm Byron Winters with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Contact me for all of your business insurance needs. From general liability to workers' comp, commercial auto, and business umbrellas, Landmark Insurance has you covered.
And we're back. And this time we have Derek.
That's right. Derek Kinsey, also of Boys and Girls Club, also of Gravel Road Productions, Man About Town. That's a good title. I think Man About Town would be an awesome title.
About Town.
I'm gonna get my business cards remade to say Rob Alderman, Man About Town.
What do you wear like a big hat?
Would that work?
Put it on your tag.
Man About Town.
Man About Town.
So Amanda, I mean, we're gonna give you just a short, brief moment to comment on Amanda. You wanted her on the show.
I did want her on the show.
And she came on the show. You
She
know,
did.
our viewers are wonderful people, and they can't tell, they don't know, but Amanda has severe camera fright. And so she came on here even though she's terrified of cameras, which is, by the way, great if you want to go into the PR industry.
That's awesome.
If you want to go into PR, fear of cameras is at the top of the list. Like at Lee, that's what they tell you. Patty Silverman, the first day you're in her class, she's like, hey, by the way, if you're scared of cameras, you're in the right place. But you know, how's she doing?
She's doing great as a director. I'm not sure about her PR skills.
How long have you worked with her?
She started in August, this past August, and she's done a really good job. I mean, she really was kind of new to the whole Boys and Girls Club scene, and but she learns really fast, and she did a great job. Listen, I'm actually promoting her. You guys don't know our relationship. It's like we're usually at each other, but she actually does a pretty good job. So she did a good job interim. She worked into helping me out as a director here at Cleveland State. She does a really good job. Kids really like her.
That's cool. You know, they say that they don't know the difference between her and them. You know, when you say
They
like,
don't,
you know,
yeah,
they
right?
like her. You know, she's in their gangs.
I got you.
You understand?
Yes.
When you say, now you said
She
we
has-
don't know
she has
this.
her
You said
own
we don't know
gang.
this, but you're promoting her. So she's a director right now. What's she going to be promoted to?
Well, no, she's actually that was her promotion. She got that.
Oh, I thought
when
she was
she's
looking
done, we're
forward to
getting
it.
rid of her.
I thought she was looking forward to another promotion, and I thought maybe like there was some salary negotiation
she's-
that Ashley and I could help with.
She's wishing. We'll have to talk after the show.
You're here to talk about Gravel Road Entertainment.
Sure.
Now, this has been around a long time.
Long time.
How long?
28 years.
What really, though, how long?
About 9 years, eight or 9 years.
8 or 9 years. Tell us about, look deep into the eyes of camera 2 here. It's about to go over.
This is
Yeah.
okay. Hey,
And tell
camera
camera 2 about Gravel Road.
Well, you're probably interested in the name Gravel Road, and I'm glad you asked, because Gravel Road came from my driveway, which had no pavement. So it was gravel. And that's where the business started. 3 guys put their heads together and thought, hey, we're going to do something cool and change the world, bring on world
Well,
peace.
did it hurt when they put their heads together?
They did. Actually, it did because Slade has a big head, so.
Oh, my gosh. Slade does have a big head. That's true.
So it's Slade Baumgartner, Adam Lowe, who works here at Cleveland State, by the way.
We've had him on to talk about the wheel tax.
Oh, really? I'm sure.
Yeah, we've had him on to talk politics.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's Slade Baumgartner,
Right.
Adam Lowe, and
Derek Kinsey.
what part do you do?
Nothing.
He just puts his name on.
I own the unpaved driveway.
I was like, if you want to keep this name.
You know
you're
what's
gonna have
funny
to stick with
about
the name.
this? Is like, I don't know how many of our viewers out there know you personally. Probably a lot of them because, you know, like I said before, our viewers, they're pretty well educated. They probably all give a lot to the Boys and Girls Club, so they probably know you pretty well. But what's funny about you saying that the gravel road came from the fact that your driveway is unpaved is that you could take that, and that actually is everything that I know to be true about you, kind of in one statement, because you're also a songwriter. And like the kind of songs you write are like, this is a song called Happy Day. The other day I woke up and I had a really happy day. And so so I wrote a song called Happy Day. And then like normally the chorus is like Happy Day, Happy Day. And then you're like, you finish that song and you say something like, this is a song called Brushing My Teeth. Yesterday I was brushing my teeth and I thought, this would make a great song. So I think that like the idea, whose idea was the gravel road part though? Was that your idea?
You know, it's kind of like band names. You know, you go through a million names and you want something that'll stick, and everybody had all of these names that they brought up to the table and stuff. And I think Slade said, I am sick and tired of your gravel driveway. Your gravel road stinks.
That sounds like something he'd say.
Gravel Road. And we're an entertainment company. So
Right.
Gravel Road Entertainment was born.
Now, what is though the primary, you've talked about the name and how the name came to be, but what's the primary business of Gravel Road?
Actually, we're professional audio, lights, dabble into video as well, and probably our bread and butter is installation. But we do a lot of rental rigs. We actually are at Riverbend. We set up last night. We have a Riverbend stage doing the blues stage, which is a lot of fun. There's some good people out there working with us. And then we have some recording. We do recording. We're staying busy with recording as well. And then we sell equipment as well.
Now, what is, as we talk about you have a storied history, as they say. The storied history of Gravel Road. What is the biggest thing you've ever done?
The biggest thing we ever done.
The biggest Gravel Road moment.
The moment, not probably the biggest thing we ever done, we actually started, we thought, hey, we're going to move into the concert promotion arena, right? And so here we do, we get on board with a MTV College Invasion tour. And we're like, we're going to be the most successful business in the world. We're going to change Cleveland and everybody who's in it.
Right.
And we lost $25,000 in one night.
Did you really?
We sure did.
On what concert was that?
Hooba stank.
Well, that's why.
It stank.
Hoobastank.
Hoobastank.
You brought Hoobastank to Cleveland?
To the memorial.
But nobody went to see it.
Right. Not enough.
What was that like? How'd that feel?
It's sickening. And
I don't know if I've ever lost 25. Have you ever lost 25 grand in a?
25 grand.
Have you ever lost 25 grand in a night?
What was interesting about it is we were all.
It was also though it was kind of an awesome victory, right?
Oh,
did it feel weird because you were like, we partnered with MTV, we're awesome. We lost 25 grand, we suck. You didn't know how to feel?
Mixed emotions.
It was sort of like being in Cincinnati and having your family cheer for you during your graduation. My family loves me. I don't have a diploma.
It was actually pretty cool because after assessing the whole problem right afterwards and trying to figure out what things you can do better, because actually Slade's uncle is a big concert promoter, like on a large scale. And we got to see some of his shows afterwards, and you live and learn. And if you're not going to take a risk, you're never going to gain anything.
Right.
And so, we took that opportunity and said, we could quit. And here's the thing: if you stop now, we lost.
That's a good way to think.
But if we don't stop, we ain't lost nothing. That was just our bank's negative right now.
That's a great way to be.
It is a great way to be. But, and coming through that, then, I give credit to God. God opened some doors, and we started getting some insulation jobs, and one thing led to another. And then we started getting into the rental rigs, and that led to something else, and started doing actually some concerts. We did concerts at Lee, and the back-to-school concerts was a lot of...
So
Stop
doing
doing Hoobastank.
That's an interesting one, though.
Yeah.
Hoobastank, because they had a moment.
Hey, let me tell you something that was cool about the
Hoobastank had a moment
show.
of being big.
What
was the failure? Tell us.
Well,
why did it not work?
I'll answer that in just a minute.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about Hoobastank, and you think, in a band yourself, and you look and you dream through other bands that make it successful, and it's like winning the lottery. Sometimes it has nothing to do with anything but being in the right place at the right time. And they, when they showed, two things that was interesting about that. The lead singer was sick. He was like sick as a dog, and but they had oxygen and stuff that they were giving him to help him make it so that he could actually perform, and he did okay. He really did. But we're counting all the rigs, and we're like, I know what that semi is, and I know what that semi is, and I know what that semi is. Well, what's that semi? And then one of the guys, the manager, says, oh, when we go to a new town, they have to have their motorcycles. And so that semi was nothing but their motorcycles. It opens up, and their motorcycles come out, and then they're gone for the day after sound check. And then they tour the city on their motorcycles. And I thought, wow, what a way to live. Isn't that cool?
That's cool.
So it was cool. And then I think just not knowing things, you're talking about losing, what went wrong. Anything you do the first time, you're going to risk it. You want to do as much homework ahead of time. And we had done some smaller shows and been successful. And we thought, well, you're going to have to eventually get into it. Well, one thing I'm learning, that B market is a hard market. You could do something on the C and D or the A, but stay away from the B.
So they were a B. They weren't big enough.
They weren't big enough.
But they were too big to be cheap.
Right. And they were up and coming because they just had a song on the radio that was making it pretty good. So it's one of those things that didn't have enough to pull a crowd. And Chattanooga, honestly, nothing against Chattanooga, but Chattanooga is a B market when it comes to concerts.
Right.
Unless you're just huge. And
what would have done well?
Atlanta.
Bill Gaither concert.
Yeah, it would have.
If you guys had brought Bill Gaither to the memorial, you'd be rolling.
You know what
dough.
you might do? The Collins brothers.
Yeah, now we've been talking about the Collins brothers, Camera One. The Collins brothers, you may not know this, Derek Kinsey. The Collins brothers are at every major Cleveland event.
They are.
They're the
popular.
soundtrack of Cleveland.
They're very popular.
Okay? So the Collins brothers, if you did a Collins brothers concert, you might make a ton of money. When you talk about bringing in an A-lister.
Hey, you talk about songwriting. I wrote a song for the Collins brothers.
Which one?
Tennessee Lullaby. It was actually.
I remember
Don't
that.
you laugh at that song. It was a song that me and JoJo wrote together. I saw that look on your face.
No, I was
You
just
were
saying
going
I
with this.
remembered it.
Yeah, whatever.
I remembered it because we were doing something in your studio, and you were like, hey, I was telling somebody about a Tennessee lullaby, so I wrote a song called Tennessee Lullaby. I really do remember that song. I do remember it. I wasn't making fun. The look on my face was happiness.
JoJo's a great guy, and his wife, he has a great family. And he was just mentioning his story between him and his wife, and it kind of just sparked something one night. I started an idea, and obviously it took his touches on it to make it what it is. And so we sat down together and just kind of started collaborating, and he's a good writer.
Well, he's never been on our show yet.
You need to get him on the show.
We want you on. Hey, JoJo,
Collins.
look at me. JoJo Collins, we're inviting you on this show.
Yeah. Come on.
You hear that? We're inviting you on this show. Well, Derek, we got to say goodbye because we got another segment that we have to do in a minute. But we're glad you came on our show. Thank you for being here. If you need installation, if you need to put on a Hoobastank concert, call Gravel Road. What's the website?
It's www.gravelrd.com.
GravelRD.com. Go check them out. Derek Kinsey, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back after this.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Have annoying biting and stinging insects taken over your yard? Volunteer Ritapest can get it back. Make your yard a no-fly zone with Mosquito Guard. Volunteer Ritapest will eliminate these annoying pests and you'll be able to work in your yard, have a pool party, a cookout, allow your children to play outside or just sit outside and enjoy the evening. Volunteer Ritapest has developed an extremely effective treatment program that treats all shrubs, bushes, trees, and other foliage where mosquitoes and other biting, stinging insects live and breed. This material will not harm your plants or trees and leaves no harmful residue. This treatment program is safe for use around children and pets, but the best part is it's 100% guaranteed. If you are not 100% satisfied, Volunteer Ritapest will retreat for free until you are satisfied, or after 30 days, will cancel their agreement and refund 100% of your money. Give Volunteer Ritapest a call for a free no-obligation estimate. Phone 472-7736.
And we're back. You're watching Tennessee Valley this morning. Ashley, tell them what time it is.
It is time for the preview review.
That's right. This is where we review the previews to tell you what movies are coming out this weekend, why you should or shouldn't see them. We don't have a lot of time.
No, we don't.
But luckily, we don't have a lot of movies. There are 2 movies coming out, and the first one that we're going to talk about is Prometheus. Prometheus is like the prequel to the Alien movies. And
I think they've officially said that now.
And in Prometheus, it's about a group of people that are out in space and they somehow land on an alien world and awaken an alien. Did I get that?
I think so. Yes.
What are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it a grade. I usually don't like movies like this, but I've heard fantastic things about it. And what I've seen from it just looks fantastic. I don't think it's going to be Avengers level, but I think it's going to be great.
It looks pretty okay to me. It doesn't look like it captures the scariness of the original Aliens.
Right.
Like, I think that the original Alien movies are just so packed full of awesome.
Right, and I don't think it's supposed to.
I don't think people should hold this up to that.
No,
standard.
I don't think it's supposed to be.
Is this a Ridley Scott film?
It is.
So he's back.
He is back.
That's a good thing, and he's fantastic. The other film that we want to... Oh, I'm giving it a grade, by the way.
Okay.
The other film we're here to talk about, Madagascar 3. Ben Stiller and the crew are back, and they're on another hijinks about animated animals. What are you going to give it?
I don't care. I mean, not a hate, not a grade. I'm sure it'll be a good movie, but...
I'm going to give it a hate in terms of I'm not going to the theater to see it, but that might be a lie because if Rusty and Riley decide they want to see it, then I'll end up in the theater. That's just the way that goes. Either way, whether I see it in the theater or not, it'll end up in my house at some point where they are going to watch it because they love those films, and they're pretty clever as far as kids' films go. So that's it.
That's it.
The show is over. We've had a good time with you today. Thanks to Amanda. Thanks to Derek. And until next time, I'm Rob. I love Cleveland.
And I'm Ashley, and I love Cleveland.
Slinky, we miss you. Let's all love Cleveland together. See you next week.